are listening to the most comprehensive paranormal archive on the internet.
Welcome to Salsido Paranormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I'm continuing my series review, The Book of the Damned by Charles Fort. As always, you can find links to ways to listen and ways to support the show and listen to the show, as well as links to friends of the show at the website, and that is salsidoparanormal.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.com. So, we are getting close to the end of this first book here, The Book of the Damned. There's 3 more books by Charles Fort on these anomalous topics here. So we're not done with this whole Fort thing for quite a while still. But a few things to keep in mind here as we go. There may be words and thoughts in here from Charles Fort that you and or I myself do not agree with. That does happen. Has happened a few times, and probably will happen again. Also, there may be things that Fort talks about here in his books that were mysterious 100 years ago or so, that maybe are not so mysterious now thanks to advances in science and exploration and all those things. And last thing, of course, as always, is I apologize in advance for mispronouncing any words or names. Words are hard, especially when some of them are not even in English. A lot of times I end up skipping those because there's just some I cannot tell how I would say it. So, I think that takes care of everything. So let me get back to this book here and start with this long paragraph here. So getting back to this, it says that upon the 16th of May, 1808, at about 4 p.m., the sun suddenly turned dull brick red. At the same time, there appeared, upon the western horizon, a great number of round bodies, dark brown, and seemingly the size of a hat or crown. They passed overhead and disappeared in the eastern horizon. Tremendous procession. It lasted 2 hours. Occasionally, one fell to the ground. When the place of a fall was examined, I think we did read this last time, that's okay. Can do a little bit of review. There was found a film, which soon dried and vanished. Often, when approaching the sun, these bodies seemed to link together, or were then seen to be linked together, in groups not exceeding 8. And under the sun, they were seen to have tails, 3 or 4 fathoms long. Away from the sun, the tails were invisible. What is this? That's fascinating. Whatever their substance may have been, it is described as gelatinous, in quotation marks here, soapy, and jellied, in quotation marks. I place this datum here for several reasons. It would have been a good climax to our expression upon hordes of small bodies that, in our acceptance, were not seeds, nor birds, nor ice crystals. But the tendency would have been to jump to the homogeneous conclusion that all our data in that expression related to this one kind of phenomena, whereas we conceive of infinite heterogeneity of the external, of crusaders and rebels and immigrants and tourists and dragons and things like gelatinous hat crowns, or that all things here upon this earth that flock together are not necessarily sheep, Presbyterians, gangsters, or porpoises. The datum is important to us here as indication of disruption in this Earth's atmosphere, dangers in entering this Earth's atmosphere. I think myself that thousands of objects have been seen to fall from aloft and have exploded luminously and have been called ball lightning. As in quotation marks, as to what ball lightning is, we have not yet begun to make intelligent guesses. In quotation marks. Parentheses, monthly weather review, 34-17, close parentheses. In general, it seems to me that when we encounter the opposition ball lightning, we should pay little attention, but confine ourselves to guesses that are at least intelligent, that stand phantom-like in our way. We note here that in some of our acceptances upon intelligence, we should more clearly have pointed out that they were upon the intelligent as opposed to the instinctive. In the monthly weather review, 33-409, there is an account of ball lightning, in quotation marks there, that struck a tree. It made a dent, such as a falling object would make. Some other time I shall collect instances of, in quotation marks again, ball lightning, to express that they are instances of objects that have fallen from the sky luminously, exploding terrifically. So bewildered is the old orthodoxy by these phenomena that many scientists have either denied, quotation marks, ball lightning, in quotation marks, have considered it very doubtful. I refer to Dr. Sester's list of 150 instances which he considered authentic. Just a quick aside here, there's still a lot of talk now about anomalous lights being ball lightning, and in some cases it seems like maybe it kind of fits, but then in others it doesn't fit. So I'm not sure, but it's fascinating that this is something that has been talked about for a lot longer than I realized, as far as it existing to begin with, but also as far as having it be an explanation for anomalous things that are seen in the sky and that come down to the ground. Back to the book here. In accord with our disaccord is an instance related in the monthly weather review, March 1887. Something that fell luminously from the sky, accompanied by something that was not so affected, or that was dark. That, according to Captain C.D. Sweet of the Dutch bark JPA, upon March 19th, if I could talk, 1887, north 37 degrees 37 minutes, or 39 minutes, west 57 degrees 0 minutes, he encountered a severe storm. He saw two objects in the air above the ship. One was luminous and might be explained in several ways, but the other was dark. One or both. Wow, I can't talk. Talking would be helpful. One or both fell into the sea with a roar and the casting up of billows. It is our acceptance that these things had entered this Earth's atmosphere, having first crashed through a field of ice. Immediately afterward, lumps of ice fell, and that's in quotation marks there. One of the most astonishing of the phenomena of, in quotation marks here, ball lightning, is a phenomenon of it's not many meteorites, violence of an explosion out of all proportion to size and velocity. We accept that the icy meteorites of Dhurmsala could have fallen with no great velocity, but the sound from them was tremendous. The soft substance that fell at the Cape of Good Hope was carbonaceous, but was unburned, or had fallen with velocity insufficient to ignite it. The tremendous report that it made was heard over an area more than 70 miles in diameter. That some hailstones have been formed in a dense medium and violently disintegrate in this Earth's relatively thin atmosphere. We had some hail today outside, just for like a couple minutes. It was pretty loud. Some decent-sized crashes, too. I didn't think it was broken here. Anyway, Nature 88-350. Large hailstones noted at the University of Missouri, November 11th, 1911. They exploded with sounds like pistol shots. The writer says that he had noticed a similar phenomenon 18 years before at Lexington, Kentucky. Hailstones that seemed to have been formed in a denser medium. When melted under water, they gave out bubbles larger than their central airspaces. Monthly Weather Review 33-445. Our acceptance is that many objects have fallen from the sky, but that many of them have disintegrated violently. This acceptance will coordinate with data still to come, but also we make it easy for ourselves in our expressions upon superconstructions. If we're asked why, from thinkable wrecks of them, girders, plates, or parts recognizably of manufactured metal have not fallen from the sky. However, as to composition, we have not this refuge, so it is our expression that there have been reported instances of the fall of manufactured metal from the sky. The meteorite of Rutherford, North Carolina, is of artificial material, mass of pig iron. It is said to be fraudulent. American Journal of Science 2-34-298. The object that was said to have fallen at Marblehead, Massachusetts, in 1858 is described in the American Journal of Science 2-34-135 as, quotation marks, a furnace product formed in smelting copper ores or iron ores containing copper, close quotation marks. It is said to be fraudulent. According to Ehrenberg, the substance reported by Captain Hallam to have fallen upon his vessel near Java, in quotation marks here, offered complete resemblance to the residue resulting from combustion of a steel wire and a flask of oxygen, close quotation marks. Parentheses, Sturcher Meteors, page 239, close parentheses. Nature, November 21st, 1878, publishes a notice that, according to the Yuma Sentinel, a meteorite that, in quotation marks, resembles steel, close quotation marks, had been found in the Mojave Desert. In Nature, February 15th, 1894, we read that one of the meteorites brought to the United States by Peary from Greenland is of tempered steel. The opinion is that meteoritic iron had fallen in water or snow, quickly cooling and hardening. This does not apply to composition. November 5th, 1898, Nature publishes a notice of a paper by Professor Berworth of Vienna upon, quotation marks here, the close connection between meteoritic iron and steelworks, steel, close quotation marks. At the meeting of November 24th, 1906 of the Essex Field Club was exhibited a piece of metal said to have fallen from the sky, October 9th, 1906, at Braintree. According to the Essex naturalist, Dr. Fletcher of the British Museum had declared this metal to be smelted iron, quotation marks, so that the mystery of its reported fall, in quotation marks there again, remained unexplained, close quotation marks. And also end of chapter. Moving on to chapter 24. Let's see here. We shall have an outcry of silences. If a single instance of anything be disregarded by a system, our own attitude is that a single instance is a powerless thing. Of course, our own method of agreement of many instances is not a real method. In continuity, all things must have resemblances with all other things. Anything has any quasi-identity you please. Some time ago, conscription was assimilated with either autocracy or democracy with equal facility. Note the need for a dominant to correlate to. Scarcely anybody said simply that we must have conscription, but that we must have conscription which correlates with democracy, which was taken as a base or something basically desirable. Of course, between autocracy and democracy, nothing but false demarcation can be drawn. So I can conceive of no subject upon which there should be such poverty as a single instance. if anything one pleases can be whipped into line. However, we shall try to be more nearly real than the Darwinites, who advance concealing coloration as Darwinism, and then drag in proclaiming luminosity too as Darwinism. I think the Darwinites had better come in with us as to the deep sea fishes and be sorry later, I suppose. It will be amazing or negligible to read all the instances now to come of things that have been seen in the sky, and to think that all have been disregarded. My own opinion is that it is not possible or very easy to disregard them now that they have been brought together, but that if prior to about this time we had attempted such an assemblage, the old dominant would have withered our typewriter, page break there, as it is the letter E has gone back on us, and the S is temperamental. Yeah, keyboards, they get worn out. Quotation marks, most extraordinary and singular phenomenon. In quotation marks, North Wales, August 26, 1894. A disc from which projected an orange-colored body that looked like, in quotation marks, an elongated flatfish, close quotation marks, reported by Admiral O'Mani, and then parentheses, Nature 50-524, close parentheses. Disc from which projected a hook-like form, India, about 1838. Diagram of it given. Disc about size of the moon, but brighter than the moon. Visible about 20 minutes by G. Petit, I believe, in Professor Baden-Powell's Catalogue, British Association, 1849. Very brilliant hook-like form, seen in the sky at Poland, Trumbull County, Ohio. Seen in the sky. It showed that during the stream of meteors of 1833. Visible more than an hour. Large, luminous body, almost stationary. Quotation marks here, for a time, close quotation marks. Shaped like a square table. Niagara Falls, November 13th, 1833. Parentheses, American Journal of Science, 1-25-391, close parentheses. Something described as a bright white cloud at night. November 3rd, 1886, at Hamar, Norway. From it were emitted brilliant rays of light, drifted across the sky, in quotation marks, retained throughout its original form, close quotation marks. Parentheses, Nature, December 16th, 1886-158, close parentheses. Thing with an oval nucleus, and streamers with dark bands and lines, very suggestive of structure. New Zealand, May 4th, 1888. Nature, 42-402. Luminous object, size of full moon, visible an hour and a half. In Chile, November Chile, November 5th, 1883. Comptes Rendus, 103-682. Bright object near sun, December 21st, 1882. Knowledge, 3-13. Light that looked like a great flame, far out at sea, off Ryuk. I'm probably butchering that name, I apologize. December 2nd, 1845. London Royal Society Proceedings, I believe. 5-627. Something, oh my God, I completely missed the timing. Well, all right. Like a gigantic trumpet, suspended, vertical, oscillating gently. Visible 5 or 6 minutes. Length estimated, at 425 feet at Oaxaca, Mexico. July 6th, 1874. American Scientific American Supplement 6-2365. Two luminous bodies, seemingly united, visible 5 or 6 minutes. June 3rd, 1898. Nature 1898-1-127. Thing with a tail, crossing the moon. Transit half a minute. September 26th, 1870. London Times, September 30th, 1870. Object 4 or 5 times the size of the moon, moving slowly. Okay. Across the sky, November 1st, 1885, near Adrianople. Probably saying that wrong. Astronomy, 1886-309. We're just going to make this a long episode here, and maybe do another one after, because this has literally been going on, this whole paragraph, since the previous page, and it does not stop on this page. That's the randomness of Fort, I guess. Large body, colored red, moving slowly, visible 15 minutes, reported by Kagia Marcellus, August 1st, 1871. Chemical or Chemistry News, I'm not sure, 24-193. Details of this observation and similar observations by Guillermin and others, or other instances by DeFonville, Countess Rendus, 73-297, and then 755. Thing that was large and that was stationary, twice in 7 minutes. Oxford, November 19th, 1847. Listed by Lowe. Sure, that the publication name, Science, isn't it? 1-136. Grayish object that looked to be about 3.5 feet long, rapidly approaching the Earth at, Sarbrook, okay. April 1st, 1826. Sound like thunder. Object expanding like a sheet. American Journal of Science, 1-26-133, and Quarterly Journal of the Royal Institute, 24-488. Report by an astronomer, N.S. Drayton, upon an object, duration of which seemed to him extraordinary. Duration 3/4 of a minute. Jersey City, July 6, 1882. Scientific American, 47-53. Object like a comet, but with proper motion of 10 degrees an hour. Visible 1 hour. Reported by peering and Glancy from the Cordoba Observatory, Argentina, March 14th, 1916. Scientific American 115-493. Something like a signal light. Reported by Glacier, October 4, 1844. Bright as Jupiter, in quotation marks, sending out quick flickering waves of light. Yearbook of Facts, 1845-278. Well, since we went a little ways over time here, we're going to stop at this next paragraph break. Thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all next time on Salsido Paranormal. Take care.